In this video, we're going to take a look at 2019 Physics Ordinary Level Paper, Question 2. In Question 2, we are told that a student carried out an experiment to measure the specific latent heat of fusion of ice. We know the temperature of ice, and we're asked to carry out a number of tasks to solve this question. So, in the first task, we're asked to draw a label diagram of the apparatus used in this experiment. The elements required for full marks for this part of the question are calorimeter with water inside of the calorimeter. Notice that I draw calorimeter with thermal insulation called lagging that has a purpose of preventing heat transfer from the outside of from the environment to the calorimeter and vice versa. Next element we require is the thermometer. We also need to make sure that we note that the ice within the calorimeter, and finally we need the weighing scales to satisfy all the elements required for this question. So weighing scales, calorimeter, thermometer, and ice. Next part of this question, we're told that the ice was crushed before it was added to the water. Why was the ice crushed? The answer to this question needs to include reference to the surface area. So we can say that the surface area is increased when ice is crushed, which leads to ice melting faster. If we refer to, if we either say that it's to speed up ice melting or refer to the surface area, we should be okay for the full marks. Next question is we're asked to find out the following. We need to name instruments. We need to name one of the masses measured in the experiment, and we need to measure one of the temperatures measured in the experiment. So we measure a couple of those quantities in this experiment. So the masses that are measured are mass of the calorimeter, that's empty calorimeter. We need to also know the mass of calorimeter and water that's required in order to find out the mass of water on its own. And finally, we need mass of the calorimeter with water and ice that's melted. That's required in order for us to find out the value of the weight of ice. And then the temperatures that we measure in these experiments are just two. We have the initial temperature of water, and we have the final temperature of water and melted ice mixture. We know that the temperature of ice is 0 degrees, so we don't need to measure this temperature. Next, we're asked to name an instrument used to measure one of those quantities listed above. So to measure temperature, let's call temperature T, we use a thermometer. And to measure mass, we can say that we use electronic scales or balance. And finally, we need to state that one of the precautions used in this experiment, other than crushing the ice. We can say that ice should be dry. Or we could say that we need to insulate the calorimeter. Or we could say that we need to add ice quickly. All those precautions are there to prevent heat transfer from the water and ice mixture to the environment and vice versa, which would in turn skew our measurement and make it a little bit more inaccurate. And that's it for this question, and thanks for watching.